Hey friends, welcome back. It's good to be here. Today I'm excited because I'm going to be talking to you about my favorite cool toned eyeshadow palettes. Now, if you're like me and you love cool tones, you know how hard it is to find actual cool toned eyeshadow palettes. There's a lot of eyeshadow palettes that are warm with a couple cool tones, or even some that are about half and half, but finding true cool tone palettes is very difficult. I've got a bunch to show you today, and I've got swatches of all of them, so let's go ahead and jump in. So the first palette I want to talk to you about is the Viseart Cool Mattes 2 palette. I absolutely love this palette. I picked it up recently. And this is the Viseart packaging. It's kind of plain, but don't let that fool you. It's really just like this because it's meant to be in a pro makeup artist kit. So it's very compact, but you get a lot of product. So this is $80, but you're getting 0.84 ounces of product, which is a ton of product. These are very, very deep wells for the eyeshadows. And this one, Cool Mattes 2, Viseart describes it as: Cool Mattes has been reinterpreted into a wider range of complementary shades of dusty blues, rose, lavender, blue violets, slates, and essential browns. I totally agree about this. In general, I hate brown eyeshadow. I don't find it looks flattering on me. It usually looks too warm or too orange. However, these three browns right here are very cool tone browns. They look great with my complexion. They really make my eyes pop blue. Super flattering. Love them to bits. The other colors in this palette are excellent as well. I really like the purples, the pink is nice, the gray is nice. I haven't really worn the blues much, but they are pretty and they swatch nice. The deeper one almost looks like a deep ocean blue, and I love that color, especially if I was gonna be pairing it with like some brighter turquoise or teals, it'd be perfect for that. So this is Cool Mattes 2, which obviously I love because I could just go on and on about it for days. I could gush about it. It's so easy to blend. The pigmentation, basically the balance of pigmentation and blendability is perfect. It's very easy to blend out these colors and create this perfect seamless looks. So really great. Now let's look at the original Cool Mattes 1. This is also a great palette, and it basically has more taupe shades, in my opinion, and more gray shades than Cool Mattes 2. Viseart says that this has ecru, heather, malt, taupe, deep ash brown, cool pink, violet red, stormy gray, navy, dusty purple, stone, and charcoal. And man, I love this color down here, this deep blue. It's like this deep navy blue, stunning. This kind of like pinky taupe shade right here is great. These two colors are so easy. If you want to do like an effortless eyeshadow look that's just really meant to make blue eyes pop, these colors are great for that. Again, just like the Cool Mattes 2, Cool Mattes 1 has the signature Viseart pigmentation and blendability, so it's perfectly balanced. And a lot of people complain about, or I've heard people complain that you have to build up the Viseart colors too much, but for somebody like me who's naturally heavy-handed, this is perfect because then I'm less likely to apply too much color and have trouble blending it out. So yeah, I love this. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and insert my swatches for you so you can check it out. I have Viseart Cool Mattes 2 swatched on top and Viseart Cool Mattes 1 on the bottom. And I tried to swatch the colors that were most similar close together so you could see how they compare. So this is the Viseart Cool Mattes 2 and 1. Cool Mattes 2 is up top, Cool Mattes 1 is at the bottom. They're similar, they have a lot of complementary colors, but not really exact matches. Both of these are great. I don't think you need both of them, but if you want to have a very well-rounded set of mattes, one or both of these would be perfect for that. When I picked up Cool Mattes 2, I thought it was going to be far too similar to Cool Mattes 1, but there's very little in the way of shades that are actually identical. There's just a lot of like similar colors or colors that fill in and fit together with them. So these are both great palettes. All right, so the next palette that I want to talk to you about is by Lunatick Labs. And this is the Lunatick Labs Vampira palette, which is so cute. It's got Vampira on the front, and inside you have 5 eyeshadows. It has this adorable little bat by the mirror up here. I love that. So this 5-pan palette is $35 and you get 0.26 ounces of product. And I do love the colors in it. We have, let's see, Velvet Moon, which is like a white with a pink violet shift. We have Untarnished, which is like a bright metallic silver. We have Astro Vamp, which is a deep purple on a charcoal base. We have Necromancer, which is sort of like this dirty taupe with a red shift. And the last color that we have is Nefarious, which is a blackened green with cool green micro sparkle. And I will have swatches of this palette and the next palette together. And the next palette we're going to talk about is this one by Smashbox. This is the Smashbox Cover Shot palette in Prism. It's gorgeous. So gorgeous. And I was like, is it cool tone? Can it count as cool tone? And yes, it can, because it has like these lovely grays, this cool beige, these like cool pinks and cool purples, and then of course the holographic colors. Really, I would say the warmest color in here is the holographic gold, which is like a white with a gold shift, but they're beautiful. And my favorite color in here is this blue color right here, which is Rocket Star. I swatched on the back of my hand here so you can see it, and you'll see it in the other swatches, but it's basically like this white with blue violet shift, and it's just so blingy and eye-catching. Gorgeous. So the Smashbox Prism palettes are $29 for 0.21 ounces of product. And here we go with swatches of the Smashbox Prism palette, which is on the bottom, and the Lunatick Labs Vampira palette, which is on the top. I did try to swatch the colors that I thought looked most similar close to each other, so you'd be able to see how similar or dissimilar they are. So here we have Lunatick Labs Vampira palette, and this is the Smashbox Cover Shot palette in Prism. I think they're both really, really pretty. All right, so our next palette is from NYX. It's the NYX Gloomy Days palette. Now, I love this palette. It's got all of these beautiful grays and taupes, like the cement shades, really cool. And this palette is only $20 for 0.6 ounces of product, so it's got a ton of product. It has an excellent white and black, so you can do very extreme gothic looks if you like. And it's got this color right here, which is sort of like a satiny, gray taupe, and that color is great for just like a one wash of color. If you want something super simple that are gonna make your eyes pop, that color is great for it. It just really, it makes your eyes stand out as opposed to your eyeshadow like catching attention. So some really cool colors in this. It's very affordable. It's my favorite eyeshadow product from NYX because traditionally I haven't liked a lot of their eyeshadows, but this palette is amazing. So good. The next palette I have to show you is also from the drugstore, and it's the Flower Beauty Cool Natural palette. This is another palette that I really adore. And this palette is $16 for 0.3 ounces of product. I believe this palette is vegan because I think all of the products from Flower Beauty are vegan, but I'll have to double check. Oh, and I'm pretty sure the Lunatick Labs palette is vegan. So one of the things I really love about this palette is that they have it set up as an ombre, so it goes from light to dark. I love that. And the colors you get in here are like cool beiges, cool browns, cool taupes, cool plums, and like this cool blackened navy. So there's a really good range of, like a good mix of colors and finishes. And I'm gonna go ahead and search swatches now of the Gloomy Days and the Flower. The top is Flower Beauty Cool Naturals, and the bottom is NYX Gloomy Days. So the next palette I want to show you is the Lime Crime Venus 3 palette. Now, I never thought I would be featuring Lime Crime on my channel, so I feel like I need to at least give you this little tidbit of knowledge. For years, I would never buy Lime Crime because there was this whole like packaging scandal, and Dodira had done some like pretty terrible things. But in the past couple of years, I've kept an eye on the brand, and they haven't really made a lot of mistakes in the past like year or two. They kind of kept their nose clean. And then whenever I saw that basically Xenia, Dodira, whatever you want to call her, was stepping away from the company, I was like, well, maybe now's the time that I should buy something and see if I like it. And yeah, I love this palette. It is so, so gorgeous. This is the inside of the palette. I don't like the packaging. I think the packaging absolutely sucks because it's so big and bulky, but the eyeshadows themselves are excellent. And this palette is $38 for 0.56 ounces of product. I'm wearing this palette today. I did use a little bit of Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina on the middle of my lid, and a little bit of Urban Decay's Born to Run palette just to kind of finish out my look. But majority of this look is this color right here called Ecstasy, and I was like, wow, I can't believe just how pretty this is. So yeah, I really love this palette. It's described as having rapturous lilac, rose gold, and mauve shades mixed together with earthy browns. And I would say that's probably pretty accurate. But I find all of these cool tones to be very flattering on me. The next palette I'm going to show you, and I will have the swatches of both of those two together after I show you this palette, is the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics. And it's this little palette right here. Now, this is my least favorite of all of the Naked Basics palettes, just because I find this strip of colors to be very uninspiring. They're cool mattes, but there's not enough contrast in them for me to really like them. I think that's why I don't like this palette. You know, even going back to it, I thought, oh, I'll probably like it better because it has like all of these lighter colors that are flattering for my skin tone. No, I still don't like this palette. It's just not for me. I prefer the original Naked Basics or the Aphrodisiac or one of the other palettes, but not this one. But I know that it's a really good option because it really is truly cool toned. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into the swatches to show you the Lime Crime Venus 3 versus the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics. Oh, and the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics palette is $29 for 0.3 ounces of product. This is the Lime Crime Venus 3 palette, and this is the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics palette. The next palette that I wanted to show you is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. Yes, I know this is an old palette, but this is what it looks like. It's got 16 colors in it, and I did swatch this one all on its own for you, so I'm going to insert the swatches of it now. The Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette, which is pretty cool toned. I think that this one is great just because it's got a mix of cool toned, like it has a lot of cool tone colors. Almost all of the colors in it I would consider cool tone, but you've got like these pinky taupes and these sort of like slightly grayed taupes, and you have like this cool reddish brown, the Bordeaux shade, and you have the cool deep gray, Earl Grey, you have the like bright hot pink. So I mean, really, they think the color that I wouldn't consider cool tone in it is Molasses Chip. But for the most part, it's like neutral to cool tone shades. And if you just stick to like sprinkles, almond truffle, and cashew chew, you're gonna have like a really good mix of like light, cool tone mattes. For deeper shades, dark truffle is hard to beat. And I really like Cotton Candy, which is like this, I would call it like a bubblegum pink with like a blue shift. It's very pretty. So the Chocolate Bonbons palette is $49 for 0.48 ounces of product. All right, so those are my truly cool tone palettes, are like mostly cool tone, almost all cool tone palettes with like, you know, just one or two colors that might not be cool tone. I wanted to show you the Cargo HD palette, and I do have, I will insert swatches for this guy too. This is like an HD gradient palette. So basically it's got these like neutral tones here, cool tones here, and then warm tones here. So like 3/4 of the palette is neutral to cool, but one is definitely warm. So I thought that this wasn't a bad option. Plus it's kind of cool because it has the like 3 shades per strip, so you can kind of like mix the colors together however you want. So this palette is $28 for 0.48 ounces of product, which is a pretty good deal. So the other two palettes that I have that are cool toned have been discontinued. You may or may not be able to find them on like Makeup Exchange or Poshmark or something like that, but I figured I would show them to you. One of which is the Kat Von D Smoke Quad. It's this palette right here. It's like basically cool, and that's kind of like a, I don't know, I feel like that is a warm leaning taupe gray type color. But this is a pretty good overall cool tone palette, and I personally find these colors very flattering on my blue-green eyes. I'm not really clear on whether or not Kat Von D is discontinuing these little palettes because they're no longer at Sephora, but then she released the Fawn one, so I don't really know. Maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't, but I figured I would show it to you. The other palette that is also discontinued is also Kat Von D, and it's the Eye Divine palette, which is mostly cool toned. You got all these blues, you got the warm green, and then like the gold right here, but the rest of it's pretty cool toned, so it's another option. I've had this palette in my stash since I think I bought it during the spring sale. Still haven't swatched it. All right, so now that you've seen all my cool tone palettes, you're probably like, which one should I buy? So if you're on a budget, I absolutely recommend looking at either the NYX Gloomy Days or the Flower Beauty Cool Natural palette. You can get both of these palettes at Ulta. You may be able to get this one at Walmart, I'm not sure. And obviously it's NYX, so you can get it at a NYX store, NYX website too. But these are probably the best drugstore options. Between the two of them, I would choose the NYX over the Flower, but only because I love all of these grays and the taupes. And while I do like this one, this is a little bit too natural for my personal taste. Now, between the Viseart Cool Mattes 2 and Cool Mattes 1, I don't even know how to tell you which to choose because I love both of them and I love colors in both of them. And I feel like I needed all of these colors, but I understand that not everybody does. I would say if you're trying to determine between them, just decide if you want more purples or more grays, because I feel like Cool Mattes 2 has more purples and Cool Mattes 1 has more gray. So let's talk about this Lime Crime Venus palette. I hate to admit it, but I really do love it. In fact, really the only color in this palette that I dislike is this sort of warm pink color right here called Bliss. It's one of those warm it's one of those warm pinks that almost seems like it has like an orange undertone, or I feel like it pulls orange on my skin, which is why I don't like it. But every other color in here I love. If it wasn't so bulky, I mean, I guess it's not as bulky as I'm thinking it is. It's just, it's bulkier in comparison than, like, if you look at how bulky it is compared to my Viseart palette, it's like, you know, twice the size. So I don't like that, but I really love the mix of colors. Like, the mix of colors makes me want to travel with it because, you know, I could apparently make pretty looks like this with this palette without much trouble. So yeah. It's so weird to be saying I love a Lime Crime product and think that it's excellent, but I really do think this is a great palette. Oh, and it's vegan. It says it's vegan on the back of the palette. Now, the Smashbox Cover Shop palette, I bought a couple of these. I think I bought the Rainbow palette, which was okay. I bought, I think it was called the Smashbox Vlada palette, which is like a bunch of rose golds. That one's really pretty, but this is my favorite. This one blows all the other ones out of the water for me, but that's also because it's got the, like, what they call holographic colors, but they're really duochrome colors, and the gray, and just, it's pretty, so pretty. This is gorgeous. If you love purples and you love cool tones, you will love this palette. All right, so I guess I've babbled at you guys long enough. Let me know your favorite cool toned makeup products in the comments below. If you liked this video and found it helpful, entertaining, or fun, please give it a thumbs up and share. And if you haven't already, click that little subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in my next video.